I was tweeting.
All right, so what?
Oh, I guess this is like
That got me in my zone now.
a caveat, but I think there's a lot of evil in the church, and I don't think that the church is this holy sanctified thing that maybe it once was. Maybe it never was, because if you think about the history of Christianity and Catholicism, like, blood was shed for years. Like, millions of people died in the name of Jesus and God, whatever. But I think with these pastors that you were saying, like, how they are like, oh, give me the money, like, I think it's evil, and I think there's a lot of, like, if you believe in the devil, like, there's a lot of, satanic element to the church because of the money. Like that one pastor in Ethiopia, an African country, he was selling $500 tickets to heaven. Like, how, sir? Like, and then these people are so, like you said, using your word, brainwashed by this religion. They think that they can buy their way into heaven. They're just so brainwashed, and these pastors corrupt these people. When I, like, sometimes, like, late at night when like, I leave my TV on, I wake up and it's those infomercials. There was this one about some pastor, and it had to be in Texas from the way he was speaking. He was selling, like, water or something that would, like, cure everything. You got $5 in your account, sprinkle this water on your purse, and boom, you'll have $5,000. And people are giving this man money, and I Snapchatted about it, and it made me feel some type of way, because my friend responded and said my mom bought that water. And it's like, I want to say your mom is like a sheep. Like, your mom has been so brainwashed. She thinks that this pastor, and I use that word loosely, is selling her this water that will make her life 1,000 times better. And then I see, like, people like Joel Osteen. Like, I don't think he really doesn't preach Christianity to me, even though he claims to be a Christian. He's like a new age healer in my eyes. And he's another one robbing the brainwashed masses, stealing their money and abusing them. Like, when what hurricane was that, Harvey, where he didn't open his thing. He didn't open his church. That's the main purpose of a church, is to help the community. And he didn't want those dirty, stinky, poor, flooded out people in his church. Are you kidding me? And people still buy his books. People still go to his church. People still give him all this money. He has jets. They did like a drone view of his house. That thing is an estate. That thing is like the size of Dade County. And it just makes me sick.
And honestly, like, I'm not shading religion, because, like, I went to Pace, I went to St. Monica, I went to Catholic schools, and for me, honestly, like, at the end of the day, it's people out here that's gonna use you or try to tell you the wrong story or whatever. But when I went to them schools, especially Pace, when we used to have a match every Friday before a game, and for me, that was the most, like, it felt so great, because, like, even though I'm not Catholic, it was intimate, because it was just the football players. We had mass. The father was praying for us, not just for the game. He was just like, he was like, man, some of y'all is going to college, the seniors. I pray for y'all to pass your tests, your health, wellness, mentally, everything. So for me, I just feel like nowadays people think of, like, okay, I'm going to go to this church. They got this big pastor, like, he's well known, like, he's going to help me. Second of all, I want to touch this, the tradition that I am in, the Yoruba tradition. I mean, yes, like, for certain stuff, you do have to pay. That's called sacrificing. Like, you have to pay certain money and stuff. But at the same time, people got to realize that nothing not going to happen in 5 minutes. You get what I'm saying? Like, I forgot who it was. Was it Moses or somebody with the lamb? That God said, I want to sacrifice your son for me, but then it ended up being like, I was just playing.
Jacob,
yeah, he's like, I'm just playing. You don't have to give me your son, but I just want a lamb. And then through time, you start seeing that, like, it was changes, but that's through time, because God God want to make sure that as He's doing these changes, is that you have to believe, you have to like be patient, you have to believe. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like people is so dependent on man, like as the flesh of man, is that's why you have these pastors. It's some pastors that are good people,
yeah,
and you can tell. But there's some pastors that are like, they really like, damn shit, like, you know, these people, like, I'm telling the word from God, but shit, I need my money. I need my money too.
It's like they read out the Bible. Those pastors that you're talking about, the bad ones, they read out the Bible and there's nothing behind it. But then there are pastors who, like, they speak from the heart, like God is in their heart, and so they're speaking the words of God through their heart instead of just off a piece of paper. Right. And like I do, like my pastor, in Ocala, Pastor Lennon, like. I'm about to cry thinking about her right now because she's really like, she's one of those pastors who is a great pastor and loves God, and she's had, like, she used to be an alcoholic and spoke about it openly in church one day, and she accepted God into her life and grew from that, and she's the person who she is now. And then like the pastor who we got after that, I wasn't there, I had moved on, graduated from college and everything, but the pastor that the church had after that, this man was a fool. I found out he wasn't even ordained. And I'm like, how is he leading this church? And he's stealing from the church. My church used to have Master's Table, which is a program where my church would feed the community on Wednesdays. And
yeah, my church, when I went to church, we used to do that too. Like over time, like we had like we'll like send like food to like to the poor and stuff. And like I remember we used to do that a lot. Like,
yeah, we did it, and it started as because like my dad and a few other people in the community, like, they were very community minded, and I hope I can be as great as my parents one day, but like they started it, and the plan was like my church had Wednesdays, so we feed the community on Wednesdays, but every church was Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, something like that. It was supposed to be a different black church that fed the community. My church is the only one still doing it, but the pastor, the bad air quote pastor, he was stealing money, and we got that we got the money for the food and the supplies through a grant from the United Way. Well, and we kept all the supplies in a locked closet. He got one of our church members, he talked him into like breaking open that closet, and he was stealing the food out of there for his own family. And to like that, to me, like, how are you a pastor? How do you call yourself a pastor? Right. And he did so many things. My church doesn't have a lot of money. I don't go there anymore, and according to this lady, I'll tell this story later, but I'm not a member there anymore, but whatever. She, the church doesn't have a lot of money and doesn't have a lot of members, and he was stealing from the church. He made the church, he wanted the church to pay for 4 brand new tires on his personal vehicle. What?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the money is for the church.
Yeah,
it's
for the church.
It's not for you.
And he was stealing it.
I was going to say earlier, sorry guys, I was checking our Twitter, because now we have a Twitter, guys.
Oh, let me follow it.
We've been have a Twitter. No, I had to create it. I hadn't created it, but we finally have a Twitter. I'm working on Snapchat. You guys know we don't really put anything on Snapchat, but we have a Twitter. So we finally have a Twitter. It's Cuddle Talk.
Is it going to share your password with your private Wi-Fi password?
We finally have a Twitter. It's
our anniversary, dude.
Even
I know that. Let me stop. I know it's in like September or October.
Guys, I was just trying to do, but what I was trying to say, because I was listening to everybody, but what I was trying to say was, Kirk Franklin said it best one time. He said that
you got 5G.
Religion.
Doesn't everybody?
What?
Sorry. So sorry.
Who you with?
AT&T.
That's why.
Forget AT&T though, because they be waxing.
Are you jealous?
T-Mobile, we coming up.
T-Mobile is garbage, garbage. You don't ever have signal.
We do have signal.
When they get this deal with Sprint, is over for AT&T.
But that means like y'all can't even do it on your own. Y'all have to join Sprint.
But what I was trying to say was that Kirk Franklin said it best when he was saying that there's a difference between religion and faith.
Very.
Religion is like if you're drowning and there's someone on the boat and they're telling you swim, 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 swim. Whereas faith is like you're drowning, someone throws you a life raft and tries to pull you in. There's a difference between the two. Mm-hmm. And religion and faith are not the same thing, because you could be religious Monday through Friday and Sunday and everything, and then you can be a heathen behind closed doors. But I can be on the club on Sunday, I could be on the club on Saturday, and I could be praising Jesus Sunday through Friday. I could be sitting in my classroom and just go, Jesus, I need you right now. And I can have the faith of a mustard seed to know that regardless of what I'm going through, Jesus has. I don't have to put my faith in a building, and I don't have to put my faith in the individual that's standing up there preaching to me. Because your mom, Mama A, says it all the time. Jesus did not use the people who were perfect. He used the imperfect individuals. Yeah. All of his 12 disciples were what? Robbers? Thieves. They were thieves. Was there murder? Murders. They were all individuals who had committed sins, quote unquote. Even the women that followed him were. It was like
I haven't heard shown in so long.
I keep that alive.
But these individuals were the people that followed him, and even the Bible. Even the Bible itself, there are parts of the Bible that were not written by God. The Bible itself was not written by God. It was written by men who were given messages from God. But there were parts of the Bible that aren't messages from God. They're messages from men who decided to write it in their version. And that's why your mom, Mama A, always tells us we have to be very careful when we're reading the Bible, because not every verse is not sent to us from God.
That's why like growing up, like I used to tell people you impress me when you know the Bible and the verses and stuff. But for me, I use the Bible for like my safe bet in terms of. I remember I met this dude, this white dude when I went to Broward College, and he told me to write some goals. I think he was Jewish or something. I don't know anyway, but. He told me to write some goals down and just put it somewhere and wait and see how it goes like 5 to 10 years from now. And I'm like, I got a Bible at the crib, so I was like, let me put that in the Bible. Let me put it in the Bible and stuff. So a few years later, when I took it out, I'm like, wow, I did accomplish some of these things. So I was like, I'm not saying not to read the Bible, because the Bible it have certain chapters, certain like stories and stuff like that in the Bible, but I never based my life from the Bible. I always based my life from like I was taught like to base my just to have faith. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like even my mom, my grandma, and them, like especially my grandma, like she was pretty much raised in the church, but she always said like as long as you got faith, like you ain't.
That's all you need.
That's all you need, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I was lucky enough, to come from a family that was built on faith, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Shadiri, her old boy, like, I can tell, like, with him, I really, like, it was like love at first sight, because I'm like, that's how I was raised. Like, he was the type of person I know that didn't really mess with church like that, but he had faith.
Now he goes to church.
Oh, really?
He goes to church now, but I think he understands.
Sometimes you need to hear the word.
Sometimes you need to go. Sometimes going to church is more of like that mental. Like, I really have had a rough week, and I kind of need to be in a place where I know I'm going to get something from it. And sometimes going to church is that. So I think for my dad, he's very reluctant of like, my dad reads, like he smells bullshit.
Good.
Like that's how my dad is that person. I tell John all the time, like I literally married my father. Because John is the same way. John will look at you and John doesn't say much, he doesn't do much. He doesn't really speak a lot, but what he does is he sits back